Do you really think you're in control of your life? Walking forward, making plans, setting goals, as if reality is this solid ground beneath your feet. What if I told you there is no ground? Yes, you're falling endlessly, aimlessly, with nothing to hold on to. But before you panic, take a breath, because here's the real twist. There's no ground, but there's also no bottom. Just movement. And beyond that, just you and your experience of this very moment. In the next few minutes, we're going to shatter the most stubborn illusion you carry. The idea that there's a here and a there, that you are somehow separate from the world, moving in a straight line towards some future destination. We're about to show you, without any gimmicks, how you are, and always have been, the very center of the universe. Not metaphorically, literally, but listen, what you're about to hear might change the way you see everything around you. So get ready, plant your feet firmly, or better yet, forget about the ground altogether. And hey, if you want more content that challenges your deepest beliefs, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, the algorithm knows you're ready to go even deeper. Why are we so obsessed with the idea of moving from point A to point B? Since we were kids, we've been taught to think that way. You're born, you grow up, go to school, get a job, achieve things, and one day, maybe, you'll find happiness, enlightenment, or success. But what if none of that is true? What if this whole journey is just an illusion? We live as if we're walking a straight road, always focused on the next step, the next level. But that road, it doesn't exist. It never did. There's no straight line, no destination. There's only now. This video is about that, about the most uncomfortable and at the same time, the most liberating idea you'll ever face. That you're already where you've always wanted to be. That there's no final destination. Because there's no separation between the starting point and the finish line. And why does that matter? Because as long as you keep believing you need to achieve something, cross something, get somewhere, you'll stay trapped. Trapped in this endless pursuit. Trapped in this constant anxiety, always feeling incomplete. But what if your life isn't a race, but instead a dance? Not about the destination, but about the movement itself. That's the question I want you to carry with you as you watch this video. And of course, if this topic resonates with you, drop a comment. What do you think about all this? Do you believe you're moving towards something? Or that maybe you've already arrived, but just haven't realized it yet? Let's start with the problem. The idea that you are somehow separate from the world. That there's a here and a there. This is one of the biggest misconceptions of the human mind. We've been trained to perceive reality as a sequence of places, events, and achievements, as if everything exists in isolation, each moment disconnected from the last, each person separated from the rest. But that view is incomplete. Think about this. When you look at the horizon, you see a clear line separating the sky from the earth, or the sky from the ocean. It feels obvious, right? But that line doesn't actually exist. You can never reach it because it's just an illusion created by your perspective. Life works the same way. We think there's this better place, this higher state, this more perfect moment. So we chase it. Happiness, success, spiritual enlightenment, always believing it's out there, just waiting for us. But what if all of that is just an illusion, a horizon you can never touch? That's the problem. Our mind builds these divisions, these goals, these races, but existence doesn't work like that. Life isn't a straight line, it's a circle. And in that circle, the center isn't somewhere far away. The center is exactly where you are, right now. The solution begins the moment you realize this. When you understand that you don't need to go anywhere to arrive, that here isn't a geographical point, it's a state of presence. Let's try a thought experiment. Imagine you're standing in a vast, open field. No signs, no roads, no markers, just infinite space. Now, where's the center of that space? If you move to the right, it's still infinite. If you go left, still infinite. No matter where you move, the center will always be exactly where you are. That means the center isn't a place, it's a state. It's now. This realization is so simple and yet so difficult. Because everything, literally everything in our culture, our education, our economy, teaches us the opposite. We're taught that we need to move emotionally, spiritually, financially to be complete. So we spend our lives running after a promotion, after the ideal relationship, after social recognition, always believing happiness is just around the corner, in the next course, the next trip. But every time we reach something, that satisfaction fades quickly. Another goal appears, another desire, another promise. And so, we get stuck in a cycle. Even worse, when we don't achieve these goals, we blame ourselves. We think the problem is within us, that we're not enough, that we've failed. But no, the real problem is the very mental model we've been taught. Now, let me give you an analogy that might make this even clearer. Imagine a fish living inside a round fishbowl. No matter where it swims, it finds more water. The fish could spend its entire life trying to get to the end, but the fishbowl has no end. No matter how much it moves, it's always surrounded by the same element. The question is, what if the fish realized what it's looking for is already everywhere? What if instead of swimming desperately to find an exit, it just stopped and simply became one with the water? Do you feel that shift? It's not about giving up. It's not about apathy. It's about a change in perception. From believing you're a separate point, moving toward another point, to realizing that you're already immersed in the whole. And that whole is you. That's the first big leap. Realizing you're not moving through life. You are life, moving through itself. Now, let's go even deeper. This mental model of separation, of me here and the world out there, doesn't just cause existential suffering. It also creates emotional illnesses. Psychology shows that one of the main effects of trauma is exactly this: dissociation. When someone disconnects from themselves, feels like they're living outside of their own body, like a spectator of their own life. And here's the fascinating part. Both trauma and the highest spiritual experiences involve, in some way, the dissolution of the self. But in trauma, it happens painfully, while in transcendence, it happens ecstatically. Either way, the illusion of separation is shattered. But we don't always realize this consciously. Often, we resist. We want to control reality, control our emotions, control time. We believe that if we do everything right, we'll avoid suffering, avoid loss, avoid death. But trying to control the flow of life is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips away, and the tighter you grip, the faster it escapes between your fingers. So the second step in this solution is to let go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the idea that there's some ideal place to reach. It's about trusting that you're already at the center, that the center isn't a place you arrive at, but a space you've always been in, even if you didn't realize it. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop running, when you finally let go, that's when the real transformation begins. Because for the first time, you allow yourself to be fully present. And it's only in presence that life truly happens. Everything else is memory or projection. And are you willing to stop? Or will you keep running toward a horizon that you can never, ever reach? Breathe, feel, and realize you're already here. Now that you've realized, there's no road, no destination, no finish line. Another question arises. If there's nowhere to go, then what do I do with my life? This is the second big problem, the fear of emptiness. When we realize that constant movement isn't necessary, we often feel a strange kind of anxiety, as if everything suddenly loses meaning. After all, we've been trained to believe that life needs a narrative, a mission, a specific purpose. The absence of that can feel terrifying. But here's the truth. The meaning of life isn't found in what you achieve. It's found in how you experience every moment. Let me say that again. It's not about what you do, but about how present you are while doing it. For example, imagine two people having coffee on an ordinary morning. One is there, but already thinking about the emails they need to answer, the bills to pay, the meetings coming up. The other simply feels the warmth of the cup, the aroma rising, the flavor touching the tongue, and breathes. Both are doing the same thing, but only one of them is truly present. And which one is really alive? The solution to this second problem isn't about creating new goals, but about shifting how you show up in everything you do. This changes the entire quality of your life. Let me give you another example. When you walk to the park, often your mind is somewhere else, solving problems, replaying old conversations. But what if instead, you walked feeling the contact of your feet on the ground, hearing the sounds around you, noticing the colors, the air temperature? You wouldn't need to arrive at the park to start enjoying it. The walk itself would be the pleasure. See? It's not about doing less or isolating yourself from the world. It's about being fully present in every step, in every breath, in every glance. That is the real power of here and now. The philosopher Alan Watts said, "Life is not a journey with a destination. Life is like music or dance. The point isn't to reach the end, but simply to enjoy every note, every step." And that's exactly it. When you let go of the idea that you need to get somewhere, you realize that there has always been here, and that there's no other place. This realization has a profound effect on how you relate to everything: time, people, the world. Because you understand there's no need to rush anymore. No need to run. You can simply be. And this is the third aspect of the solution: letting go of the rush. We live in a culture that worships speed. Faster, more productive, more efficient. But real life doesn't rush. Nature doesn't rush, and yet everything happens. A tree takes decades to grow. A mountain takes millions of years to form. And still, everything blooms in its own time. So why do you pressure yourself so much? Why do you believe you're behind, that you're failing, that you should be somewhere else? Maybe you're exactly where you need to be. Maybe you've always been. And this isn't some hollow self-help phrase. It's a radical invitation to presence. When you stop, breathe, and realize there's nowhere I need to go, an enormous space opens up inside you. A quiet yet vibrant space. A space where you realize that being alive is already enough. And in that space, you discover something even more surprising: that here isn't a fixed point. It moves with you. Wherever you go, here goes with you. That means you are never out of place, never out of time. You are always exactly where you're supposed to be. This understanding dissolves anxiety, dissolves comparison, dissolves guilt. And what's left? What's left is you, whole, present, and free. Free, not because you arrived somewhere, but because you realized you never needed to leave. And now, tell me, right in this exact moment, can you stop and simply be? Close your eyes, take a deep breath, feel your body, listen to the sounds around you. You are here. You've always been, and you always will be. Now that you've understood, you don't need to run. There's no destination, and here is always now. Another problem emerges: the illusion of a fixed identity. From an early age, we learn to define ourselves through roles and labels. I'm a student. I'm a professional. I'm a parent. I'm someone who likes this or that. We create a solid self, a character, and we invest all our energy into keeping that character running. But what if that self isn't so solid after all? What if it's just a story? Think about it. How many things you were 5 years ago no longer make sense today? How many interests, opinions, certainties have already changed? What does that reveal? It reveals that the self you think you are isn't fixed, but a flow. The problem is, by believing we are a fixed self, we cling and we suffer. For example, when we lose a job, we feel like we've lost part of who we are. When a relationship ends, we feel like part of our identity is gone. As we age, we fight against time, as if its passage is a direct threat to our existence. But what if you were never a fixed self? What if you've always been change? Here begins the solution. Realizing that you are flow. Just like a river, you're never the same. The water flowing today isn't the same that flowed yesterday, nor the same that will flow tomorrow. And yet, the river is still the river. You are the same. The philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same man, and it's not the same river." That means the self is a construction, a narrative we create to try to feel safe, predictable, stable. But life is not predictable. Life is not stable. And the more you try to hold on to a fixed version of yourself, the more you suffer. The more you feel lost when life inevitably changes, because life always changes. So, what's the alternative? The solution is to embrace impermanence, to accept that changing is natural, that letting go is essential, that who you are is always in a process of becoming. And that is liberating. Liberating because you no longer have to carry the weight of being someone you no longer are. You don't need to sustain an image just to please others or even yourself. You can simply be who you are now. And tomorrow, maybe you'll be different. And that's okay. That's growth. That's life. Now, you might be asking yourself, but if I'm not a fixed self, then who am I? That's the most powerful question you can ask. And the answer might be the simplest, and yet the hardest to accept. You are consciousness. Pure consciousness. Consciousness that observes, that feels, that experiences, but that doesn't fixate, doesn't limit, doesn't imprison itself in any form. Consciousness that is like the sky, vast, silent, open, and unaffected by the clouds passing through. The clouds change, but the sky remains. Your thoughts are clouds. Your emotions are clouds. Your stories, memories, desires, all of them are clouds. But you are the sky. Realizing this dissolves fear, because fear only exists when we believe we are the clouds and not the sky. Now, imagine what it would be like to live that way. Light, unattached, free from the effort of maintaining a fixed identity. Simply being, presence. Is that possible? Yes, but it requires a third leap. The leap from doing to being. We live in a society obsessed with doing. Productivity, goals, achievements. All the time, we're measured by what we do, by what we accomplish, by what we produce. But who are we when we're doing nothing? Who are we in silence, in stillness, in the pause between actions? That's the final invitation of this cycle, to discover who you are when you simply are. No effort, no mask, no role, just presence. And you know what's the most beautiful irony in all of this? When you stop trying to be someone, when you simply are, that's when you find your true power. Because for consciousness, there are no limits. It is limitless, infinite, and you are that consciousness. Now, take a deep breath and feel you don't need to do anything. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You already are, and you always have been, and you always will be. So, next time you catch yourself running, pressuring, judging yourself, remember, you are like the sky, not like the clouds. The clouds come and go, but you remain present, whole, and free. And now, maybe you're wondering, if I am flow, if I am consciousness, if I am the very center, then what else am I still missing? Yes, because there's yet another layer, another veil, that you might not even realize is there, standing between you and reality as it truly is. But that's a topic for another moment. For now, just let this reflection echo within you. Let this silence move through you, with no rush, no need to arrive at any conclusion. And of course, if you want to keep exploring ideas that challenge, provoke, and expand your perception, stick around, because the next video that pops up might be exactly what you need to hear right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.